President Biden and his family will travel to Nantucket later today as part of their celebrations of the Thanksgiving holiday. The trip has been a Biden Thanksgiving tradition dating back to 1975. Along, of course, with Thursday's dinner, the Bidens will spend time on the quaint Massachusetts island exploring and attending Christmas tree lighting ceremonies. Joining us now, White House reporter for the Wall Street Journal, Ken Thomas. Ken's part of the pool traveling with the president later today. Ken, hopefully you can pick up some Celtics gear while you're there. So it should be a few days of R&R for the president, who largely will stay out of sight, visiting with friends and family. But we also now are shifting into the final under 2 months of his term. You know, he's a lame duck. There's only so much a president can do. But what does his staff hope to focus on in this stretch run, whether it's new initiatives or cementing pieces of his legacy?
Yeah, good morning, Jonathan. There's a pretty long list for the president right now. I think top of mind is this ceasefire deal that the U.S. is trying to help broker between Israel and Hezbollah. The hope is that they can bring stability to Lebanon. Brett McGurk, the president's Middle East envoy, is in Saudi Arabia today. And White House officials told me there is hope that we could see a deal by midday. The president's also going to be getting ready for this trip to Angola next week. You know, that's a legacy issue for him. He made a commitment to travel to Africa. President Trump never went to Africa as president, and so he'll be making that trip next week. You know, it's about showing the U.S. as a partner to the continent, as a country that can offset this push by China to build ties in that region. And then there's just other issues that the president's really heavily focused on. You know, they're trying to get billions of dollars out the door for these climate projects that were funded by the IRA. They certainly hope to get a number of judges confirmed by the Senate. One White House official told me yesterday that, they think that they could basically match Trump's performance in terms of judges who were confirmed by the Senate. So there's a long list. There's a lot to do. But, certainly this will be a week that's more about the family and R&R.
So, Trump, Ken, take us behind the scenes in the West Wing right now. We know there's some staff departures. People are starting to look for other jobs. But there is an effort here to, as it was put to me, to Trump-proof some of Biden's accomplishments. Take us through a few of those. What are they trying to hopefully to codify that would be harder for Trump to then undo with the scrawl of a pen come January?
Yeah, certainly the IRA is a big focus. They feel like if they can get some of these big projects funded, it'll be hard for Trump to then claw back that money. A number of those provisions he spoke about during the campaign is ones that he would try to zero out. But the thinking is that if you can get that money, into these projects before January 20th, it would be difficult for Republicans to pull it back. There's also just a focus on, some of the other initiatives like, the CHIPS Act and some of the infrastructure spending as well. And so I think they feel like they can get a lot of this accomplished. Certainly judges is an area, that would help the president and leave a legacy there and really offset, this rightward tilt of the judiciary.
Yeah, it's unclear at this point if President Biden will hold a sort of the traditional news conference we usually hear from presidents here in their final days in office. We should expect at least a final address ahead of the inauguration. Ken, in our last minute here, the Biden legacy got complicated because of Donald Trump's victory this time around. What do his top aides hope it ultimately, his chapter in the history books ultimately will be?
Well, they tell me that they're working on an address that's focused on his economic accomplishments. I think we're also going to see a similar one before he leaves on foreign policy. And I think, what they want to make the case that he was able to put together these long-range priorities that would help working-class Americans. We didn't see that bear out in the election, but I think they feel like over time his record will be viewed more favorably on the economy. And certainly, you know, we just spoke about Lebanon. I mean, I think they're hoping that they can reach this ceasefire deal in Gaza as well. That would certainly be something that the president would love to accomplish, and it'd be a piece of his legacy, along with funding Ukraine. But I think that the thinking within the West Wing is that over time, you know, once some time has passed, people will view this presidency more favorably than they do right now, which was certainly a contributing factor to Harris's loss.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's certainly a complicated legacy, a robust legislative record, to be sure. But then Trump's victory clouds that picture. There's no doubt about that. White House reporter for the Wall Street Journal, Ken Thomas. Ken, thank you. Safe travels today.